Hello and welcome, my friends, to the Peculiar Paradigm Storytelling Podcast, where youth determined to make the world a better place bring attention to issues that stop our society's progress from providing various perspectives through story. This story, The Knife, is a series that presents the injustice of the youth criminal justice system and its abusive rather than rehabilitative methods. The Knife is a thrilling and tragic story that follows the unfortunate journey of several teens through the juvenile justice system, how and why they end up within the system, how they survive in it, and how it changes them as people, for better or worse. Finally, if you're interested in supporting our efforts towards criminal justice reform, lovingly tap that like button and subscribe. It helps us immensely. Now, without further ado, grab some refreshments and get comfortable because our story is about to be told.
I slowly pulled the knife out of my backpack, the hilt first, and then the knife itself. A part of the metal caught the flickering fluorescent bathroom light and gave it a bit of a glint. It almost sparkled. The longer I stared at it, the more my surroundings began to fade. The walls swirled, and it was almost like I had shed my weight and was floating midair. Then I slammed back down to reality. A flicker of doubt crosses my mind. Did I actually want this? And here, of all places. I think, looking around at the empty stalls. It smelled like death, and it was too cold to think. What would Crocs think? How would Chad feel? A quiver starts in my chest and spreads all the way down to my hands and feet. I imagine Crocs's room, all the moments we've hung out, whining about our lives, and sometimes talking about the future. It felt like a punch to the gut. The shaking gets so strong I drop the knife. It clatters onto the space between the sinks. My stomach is in twists, and I can't stop shaking. I can't stop the tears from welling up and spilling out of my eyes. I grab onto the edges of the counter and attempt to steady myself. Come on, Leiah. Calm down. I lock eyes with my reflection. We planned this, didn't we? We said we were ready. I'm ready. But the Leiah looking back at me looked afraid. She was crying and aching all over. As much as I tried to push the thought into the back of my mind, I want my mom. I want to be 5 again. So afraid of monsters that mom would crawl into my bed and tell me how to defeat them.
First, my love, we must wrap you up in armor. Armor strong enough to scare away any monsters who dare look upon you.
Younger me would look around in confusion and whisper in her ear, "But Mama, I don't have any armor."
You're right. We'll have to make do with this then.
She would smile and wrap her arms around me protectively. We laughed then. I smiled and went to bed feeling safe. The memory lingers for a moment. I missed when she was like that. I turned from the mirror, embarrassed at the wreck that looks back at me. My normally neatly done hair is a wreck, strays flying in every direction. The crying makes my eyes red and puffy, not to mention the snot that has started to dribble down. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Remember, it doesn't matter. Mom isn't like that anymore. I force myself to remember. She hates you. She hates your art. She hates everything that isn't catered to her perfectly planned out future. I opened my eyes just enough to look at myself again. Whatever this is, whatever I'm turning into, isn't going to be a part of it. I take a deep breath. If I don't do this now, I'll be stuck in this horrid cycle forever. It will be worth it. I have to do this. I push away from the spikes of guilt that rise up when I think of Chad or Crocs. They'll be okay. They have each other and they're perfect families. I wipe the tears from my eyes and ignore the intense shaking that I can't get rid of. I wrap my arms around myself, just in case, to get rid of any more monsters that might be around. The knife still sat beside me, almost innocently looking up at me.
Is that fear? What happened to all that determination you had earlier, Leiah? Have you forgotten already what they've done to you? What they've said to you? How they have abandoned you?
I lift the knife in the air and bring it towards me. There was this weird feeling to it, like somehow it held enough power to destroy the world. Well, it'll definitely destroy mine, I think bitterly. As I bring it closer, flashes of all the times I've been screwed over cross my thoughts. What was once sadness and fear quickly spiral into hot, furious anger. Who do they think they are? I get to decide my fate. Not mom, not dad, not even Crocs. I think of my hidden painting, how unfinished it was. I let out a choked laugh. I guess there's no time like now to finish it. I've always liked the idea of bright red on a black background. I press the cold metal against my skin and flinch as it pierces me. My silent crying turns into full-on sobs as the pain moves in waves up and down my arm. My body is racking itself, my nerves sending off danger signals in a vain attempt to get me to stop hurting it. Sorry, brain, you aren't gonna like this one too much. I hold my breath, trying to distract myself from the pain, and go to push the knife in deeper. When I hear the bathroom door open, there's a gasp, and I freeze. No, 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 no. Please don't let it be. It's Angelica. Her hazel brown eyes briefly met mine before moving down to my arm. The phone in her hand drops to the floor, an expression of horror etched into her face when she realizes what she just walked into. Frick.
Unfortunately, that is where we will be concluding this episode. If you enjoyed what you listened to today, or you just want to support our work, click that like button and, of course, subscribe with the bell notifications on. And for bonus content, follow us on Instagram at Project Batu. And if you're curious and want to see where this story goes next, come back next week, the same time. We'll be waiting.